do it?
Yeah.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Listener Communications Live. You are listening to Brothers of the Serpent podcast.
Perfect timing.
Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, angels and demons and monsters and serpents. This is Brothers of the Serpent podcast, and we are coming to you totally live from the 10x10x10 Tangent Cube of Science, where we are nestled amongst the dusty bones of an ancient seabed high atop the Edwards Plateau. So we'll see how long we can go before Kyle has to run screaming from the cube.
I just might need to stand up.
we need a standing desk.
Yeah.
So yeah, apologize for several weeks there of no podcasts. Kyle he's gonna need surgery.
Yeah.
That's basically what we're looking at. He's done enough damage. Somehow he's got damage in his neck to the point to where he's gonna have to get surgery. So constant pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming, though. It's not like it's a surprise.
Yeah.
So I've had issues for a long time. I was diagnosed with traumatic arthritis in the spine after the wreck.
Yeah.
Probably a year after or something.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time. And now's the time. Because,
Yeah. Right before a double Egypt tour.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now he's like walking around like yeah. It's maybe you can get something fixed before we go. That's the goal.
I'm
right?
open.
Yeah supposedly there's an outpatient surgery procedure that might be able to do something before we leave, which would be fantastic.
Not going to get addicted to the pain meds, though. Screw that.
I'll do that part.
Check up on me, all right? Do the bro check.
yeah
But yeah, we have an appointment coming up, so
Yeah.
hopefully.
I will be evaluated for to determine whether or not I'm a surgical candidate.
And I guess it's been 20 years since both of us have had this kind of stuff checked, so maybe there have been advancements that can, I don't know.
I've heard.
Last time I went in to get, my back check, they told me the only thing we can do is fuse the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, okay, no.
No, never mind, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I was told that probably by not by doctors, but by people who had similar surgeries, that it's an outpatient surgery now.
Yeah.
So you just you go in there and the same day you walk out.
Yeah.
So that would be great.
We're ready for it to be fixed. It's been tough, folks. Having your man going down.
Thanks for the
Damn,
props.
I forgot my beer jacket. Hey, Bruce, beer money for Kyle. There you go. For medicinal purposes only, bro.
Hey, you guys can help yourself to some
Yeah,
turkey
thanks,
tea
Bruce.
here, by the way.
Yeah, we got tea.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Tea before beer.
I'll take some tea.
Except after beer.
So I have plenty of emails. It'd be great to catch up on a bunch of them before we leave. You want some? Here we go.
Yep.
I will pour this.
Nope. Yeah, I got mine.
We also have Space Weather News. I don't have any stories, I don't think. Do you got stories?
We have a diver certification story.
we do. Okay, yes. I meant news stories. You're right. That is a kind of
We
news.
probably need to touch on that at some
Yeah,
point.
here we go.
Thank you, Laura, for the tea.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, cheers on the tea.
Yeah.
Turkey tea.
We're happy to be here. Happy to be back with everybody.
Yeah. So yeah, dive certs. we did the I think we talked to you guys about the pool dives we did, but that's you're just max is 7 feet. You're just at the bottom of a pool. So last weekend, right? It was last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to a spring-fed lake and did actual freshwater dives. It's also not very deep. I think the max we got was 18 feet, maybe.
Yeah, I think
Right,
it was
something
18
like that.
feet.
17 or 18 feet. Enough to have to do some equalization, but not much. But it was fun.
Enough to really
and it
learn
was-
how to do the buoyancy.
Yes, and the water was much colder, so we wore much thicker wetsuits, which changes the buoyancy. And so I don't know. It was a lot of fun. We did 2 days of that.
We had an awesome instructor,
Yeah.
Dan of Dive Masters of San Antonio. And he, we go down and he just sits there with his legs crossed.
Yeah. He does these Yoda poses while he gives you the hand signals for what he wants you to do, and then he sits there floating
while you
in
find
this
perfect
Yoda,
buoyancy.
This Yoda yoga pose.
And we're just like bouncing from the bottom of the up, just trying to figure out.
We were all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, we got the hang of
We
it.
got
eventually,
it, we
you
got
know,
it.
It's fun, like you're swimming through these. There are these mounted like sort of triangular rings under the water, so you swim, and it's about managing your buoyancy. You got to fit through that ring and then go to the next one and go to the next one. And, you know, and if your buoyancy isn't good and you're going up or you're going down, you run into the ring or you can't make it. So it was cool. Plus, we did lots of, you know, like emergency procedures, like how do you handle it if your breather isn't working properly? How do you handle it if somebody else is signaling to you that they're running out of air? Then how to properly give them air and support each other, and then do an ascent.
Your safety stops.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you trying to say, animator and fiddler? My head has neutral buoyancy in the water? No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, you felt much better.
Yeah, that is true. I
It's
just thought,
just in the
when I
dive
first
position,
started
you're-
reading your super chat there,
Yeah.
thank you very much, by the way, I thought it was going to be an insult. But no, it actually, I didn't feel it when I was down there. So yes, it like takes the pressure off the, you know, off the vertebrae.
Yeah.
And yeah, as soon as I would surface, I'd be like, ah,
Yeah.
because my head is above water and sitting on my shoulders. So
Yeah.
you nailed it. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But my head is not perfect buoyancy. How dare you?
Same density as water, bro. It's
But it was fun.
yeah.
Towards the end, I started having more fun.
Laura.
I had a little few panic sessions.
She's like totally okay with completely removing her entire life support system under the water and then putting it back on, right? But if she gets water in a mask, she's ready to like leave.
Bail
the pool.
and
She
go
wants to
straight.
bail. And
You have to take your mask all the way off and put it back on. And that, guys, folks, was hard for me. And I was like a flailing
yeah, and
fish.
it's interesting because he actually told us that when we were doing the academic part of the courses. He was like, there's this built-in reaction that you have to water hitting your face where you're like, oh my God, like I need to hold my breath and I need to go up, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't really have. I don't know. I'm
Well,
not really experiencing it, but I saw the first time you tried to do that mask, I was like, there it is. There's that
She's
built-in reaction he
panicking.
talked about. Yeah.
Kyle and I have been talking about this because you guys grew up with masks and snorkeling and doing all that. I didn't really. So much of this was brand new sensations and ideas and concepts that I was just like, whoa.
I can see how for you it was a lot.
It
of
was a lot.
information.
I can also
Like,
tell you that, yeah,
we
sorry.
we work with regulators. We work with gas tanks.
Yes,
we,
yeah.
you know, all this kind of stuff. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, this is kind of familiar. I understand how all this works. And
Yeah.
but for Laura, it was like everything was
Yeah.
new, including the, you know, just the snorkeling.
Like everything.
Yeah, getting.
Was new.
I mean, I've been free diving for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh
We've done
my
lots of
gosh.
diving
You know,
and snorkeling and free
learn how to
diving.
pressurize, or what do they call the maneuver? You probably
Valsalva.
Valsalva maneuver to equalize pressure.
But I got through it, guys. But wow, I just, you know,
And I could
just
tell
want to
you,
come
like,
clean that,
for me-
wow, it was
Laura-
tough.
Laura's trying to do the Valsalva for the first time. She's like, okay, so
yeah, she doesn't know how to equalize her ears at all. She's like,
But
Is it
luckily, but luckily, when I just kind of swallow or move my jaw around a little bit, it'll
yeah, it
just
turns
do
out the reason you don't know how to do it is because you don't have to.
Yeah.
how did you get so lucky?
But yeah, like I was gonna say, like that I was having the opposite because you know with facial hair, all of my mask diving has been struggling with water filling up the mask all the time.
Yeah.
So this is like the first time where I'm like, okay, I'll shave this off, and I had a mask that fit perfectly, this brand new like state of the art mask, and I was like, this is amazing. No water is leaking in ever unless I completely take it off, and
Yeah.
that was just normal because normally
Yeah.
my mask is constantly filling up with water. So
Okay.
yeah.
it was great. Did
Yeah.
you know I called Chuck today?
Oh, let's hear about this.
Did you tell him he's
Chuck.
banned?
Did you know that Chuck is a trainer of
Yes.
trainers
Yes.
in diving? I mean, like
He sent me messages. Yeah,
he,
yeah.
Like,
What?
but I just blew
Chuck,
Chuck doesn't
keep
tell anybody this. I
surprising me.
just told
Keep surprising
everybody
me.
this.
He did send me some messages about
Anyways.
that he loves diving.
Yeah,
and
we
he's
need to-
he's a trainer of.
So
yeah.
he's going on to Egypt, right?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Nah, he doesn't do stuff like that.
okay.
Yeah, Chuck doesn't.
Chuck does
He doesn't go to
go
Egypt.
places.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, he can dive.
Yay!
So I'm hoping that Chuck, you will join us actually
Yeah, that'll be
when we
great.
do a dive sometime.
Yeah. And I
I'll
was
probably
thinking,
feel
you know,
really
this,
safe with him in the water.
this trip that we had been planning before COVID, I guess. It was like we were supposed to go right when the first 2 weeks of lockdown happened. And it was kind of secret at the time.
I know.
It was sort of secret, but we were going to go with George Howard and Ben from Uncharted X. And I guess Chris Cottrell was going with us too, right?
Yep, yep.
And we were all going to go down to Miami and look at this weird circular formation under the water off the coast. And Ben was going to dive, you know, and we were going to...
You were gonna
I was
operate
going to
the drone,
operate the ROV.
and I was gonna drink beers on the boat with George.
You're right. Yeah. But now we can dive.
That's
if we
awesome.
went on this trip, that would be great.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we are planning on.
Should I dive or should I drink beers with George?
But yes, we are. So we're planning on doing some dives with Ben in Egypt. So that was one of the reasons we wanted to get our cert. He's been telling us like, get your certs, right? So we finally did it. So yeah, we have some stuff planned for Egypt. I would love to dive Alexandria. You know, that would be amazing. I think that's.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to be in that area, but there's lots of reef diving and everything we're going to look at. But yeah, I would love to dive on some ruins in Egypt. That would be awesome. And wrecks. I'm sure there's wrecks there too. Okay. Anything else?
I have some Eclipse at the Canyon updates.
Okay, go
Or we
ahead.
can do those later. We don't have to do them.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I'm so excited to say.
What did the Watcher say, by the way?
He's not available.
Oh, okay. No Watcher tonight.
I'm so excited to say that we have our first official artist that's going to be part of the art gallery, and I just wanted to give her a shout out. She does beautiful, like space and stars and nebulas and like cosmic with like the moon paintings.
Wow.
They're really awesome.
Oh.
So you can check her out on Instagram at her name is Danielle Villarreal, and her Instagram is Danthropology. DANTHROPOLGY. Danthropology.
You just type that into the chat there?
in yeah.
So like
me?
D, the letter D, anthropology.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the letter D Anthropology on Instagram. So she'll be there with her beautiful art. So I'm excited about that because we're trying to build up the art gallery area. And my cousin, I have a funny cousin. Did I tell you? I have a comedian cousin. Do you know this?
No?
Okay, he knows because he's met him.
Yeah. We went to kill Tony together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he's part of.
Not an actual murder. It's a show.
It's a show in Austin.
Yeah. So we went to the show titled Kill Tony.
Yeah. But my cousin, Kit Hudson, is part of the Big Laugh comedy in Fort Worth, and he says it's the best night out in Texas. And he's going to be there, and he is working on calling in some other buddies. So we're also going to have
Gonna
some
get a
stand-
lineup.
Yeah, we're going to have a little
right.
lineup of stand-up comedians. So if you think you're
Are you
tough
gonna do it?
enough,
I'm working. I got a joke.
if you think you're tough enough to,
We can do all our jokes during our presentation.
I'm working on my jokes.
what we're trying to work up is like maybe 5 comedians doing their thing one night, and then the next night open mic for people from the crowd who want to try their hand at, you know.
Wow, that sounds like a
sort
disaster.
of a sort of Kill Tony disaster. Yeah, you go up there for
I
1
mean, like
minute.
the good kind of disaster where you can laugh at them because they suck.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? We're gonna see what it's
So
gonna be like.
so what happens on Kill Tony is that people in the audience sign up and they put their name in a hat, and then the name gets pulled, and they come up and they do 1 minute of their bit,
yeah.
and then they basically just get trashed by the hosts after that.
Okay, so who's
It's
going to be
funny.
trashing them?
It would be her
So
cousin.
my
probably.
cousin and his buddies, I guess.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, they're gonna trash.
Perfect.
First they're gonna tell a bunch of jokes the first night, and then I guess they're gonna trash. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
So you roast. It's roasting. Yes, basically. You know, you sign up to get roasted.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And you know, we can have caution tape around the scene for anybody who might, you know, get a little too triggered too easily. You know, you can get away. Maybe we can have signs or something. But anyway,
We'll just use Ben as a bouncer.
yes.
He can just throw them off the stage if they get unruly.
So that. Oh, and then the other thing is Levi, the mechanic from the Discord,
Yeah, Levi.
is going to be cooking the whole weekend for the VIP section, like on his grill.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's that's awesome. He came and did when we had the little meetup. Where was
Nueces
that? On the
River.
Nueces River. Yeah, Levi showed up and did a lot of cooking, and
And that was awesome.
yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. So there you go. This party's still building. So
Nice.
that's the update.
All right. Space
Good
Weather?
deal.
Yeah. Spaceweather.com. Let's see. A green flash from Venus. You've heard of green flashes on the sun, but what about green flashes on Venus? They are real. Peter Rosen just saw one over Stockholm in Sweden. On Monday morning, I woke up early to get a beautiful view of Venus and the moon rising over Stockholm's skyline, says Rosen. Because of the extreme cold that still persists over southern Sweden, I also got an unexpected bonus in the form of a rare green flash on Venus. Green flashes happen because Earth's low atmosphere acts like a prism, splitting white light into RGB colors. A low-hanging planet like Venus can turn into a miniature rainbow. The flash appears when unusually sharp temperature gradients in the air magnify one color over or another, in this case, green. Green flashes on Venus have been observed before, but Rosen's video may be the best ever. It was a magnificent sight, he says. All right. Yeah, I did see some. It's pretty cool. Like, look at that. That's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the same reason why it happens to the sun sometimes when it's going down. It's a similar phenomenon. It's just this is really clear. So I think this is cool because, I mean, this has been mythical almost. This effect, especially with the sun, the whole like right when the sun blinks below the horizon, some people see this green spark, and it's rare enough to where people are like, it's, people are just drinking or whatever, but it does happen. Okay, current conditions, solar wind speed, 485.1 kilometers per second. The density is 7.77 protons per cubic centimeter. Sunspot spot number is a very high 183. The neutron count is minus 4.1% of the space age average, so it's very low. And the KP index is 2, which is quiet. 24-hour max is 2.33, which is also quiet. And that's the space weather news for the week.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Shall we dive straight
Let's
into emails?
get into the emails.
Okay.
Let's see if I know anything about what anybody's going to say.
Let's see. This one is called Big Rocks Fitting Together. Okay, there's a couple of pictures. So let's see. This is from Eric. It says, I just watched Russ's presentation from the Cosmic Summit. Oh, okay. This reminded me I have some photos from Machu Picchu you might actually find interesting. There is a spot where one of the older megalithic walls has separated a bit from maybe an earthquake or something, and you can see that both sides of the stone are very slight mating compound curves. This is what we've talked about in Egypt.
Yes.
And I did mention it briefly in the presentation at Cosmic Summit. Hyperbolic paraboloid, I think is the name for the shape. Very much not the easy way to do it. I am a woodworker and would have a very hard time doing that in wood. It's pretty tough to photograph, but I'll send you what I have anyway. I have a few more shots if you want them. Yes, I would love them. But we'll only include 2 here as I'm sure you get too many emails. When you go to Peru, make sure you check it out. Thanks for all the hours of entertainment from Eric. Okay, let's see if I can. Yeah. So he's showing how. See that. I can't show you guys this on them, but he's got these beautiful pictures. It's in the email.
Man.
Yeah, that'll be tough to find them. But yes, he's got several photographs of stones that have like very slightly separated, and you can see that the places where they butted up against each other they're not flat.
Send it to me on Telegram.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, we need to show that. That's an awesome picture.
Yeah.
So I would say, yes, it would be very difficult to do this in wood. It would be easier to do this in stone, I think, because stone will grind itself.
Yeah.
So you can take 2 stones and grind them together, and they will actually form to each other, and that curvature will just match. It won't be flat. The only way to make it flat is to use 3 stones, where you rub these 2 then you rub these two, and you keep going. Then you rub the other two together, and you do this pattern where each one is rubbing against both of the others in a, you're doing it in a cycle, and they'll eventually be flat. But if you just have two, when you rub them together, they'll eventually form to each other, and that form it'll have curves.
Yeah.
So I've always thought, well, I haven't always thought this, but when I learned this about,
that they're using the
stoneworking-
stones to mate to each other, like with some kind of
yeah.
vibration.
So I'm wondering if they are somehow either putting some flexible, like not what they're doing, but how would we do this? How could we do this? Could you put some kind of flexible thing in there that actually vibrates at a, some high, very powerful vibration that's also flexible, and then it would just shape the two stones, and you're pushing them together as they grind away. Then you pull the thing out and they fit.
Yeah.
So that you're not actually having to move the stones or actually vibrate the stones themselves,
I see.
or they're actually vibrating the stones themselves. Like you could build this wall, or at least say a section of the wall, and somehow vibrate the whole thing. And I mean, that just seems
Well, it could be
crazy.
one block at a time, right? Like you've got let's say you've got a section of the wall done and you're ready to set a block right in this area.
And you grab that
Now
block
you've got
and
it
you
by
vibrate that
two
block.
nubs. And you set it up there and then and it's like, woo, and it vibrates it. I don't know.
Yes. So if you could do that with one block, you can imagine that sometimes it would sit down just a little bit further than the rock next to it. So it might have this interesting joint that kind of just goes down like just maybe a half inch lower than the other two.
Okay, I'm hearing this.
All right, Kyle's going to try to share these pictures.
Let's see. Save to downloads. Great. All right.
Yeah. There's the next one.
Yeah, I'll pull these up in a second.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Ancient humans in North America. This is from Sean. Sean from Wisconsin. He says, "Hello, my Sidewinder siblings, boys and girls, angels and artifacts to my Brothers of the Serpent email, coming to you from my 12 by 15 kitchen, nestled on top of the shores of Lake Michigan. Long-time listener, first-time emailer, love the topics, love the show. I'll save the rants and reviews for the next email. Right now, I want to get straight to my point. I think the evidence of ancient humans inhabiting North America is right in front of our faces, and we haven't made the connections yet. Let's quickly cover what we think we know. 30,000 years ago, a population of people crossed the Bering Land Bridge. White Sands footprints are about 23,000 years old. Clovis culture might be as old as 13,000 years old. And there are about 500 distinct Native American languages and cultures. So please correct any math errors I might have. I want to be as accurate as possible. 30,000 years divided by 500 languages is a new language every 60 years?
Whoa.
If a sect of people wanted to split and go a different direction, they would need about 500 people to avoid inbreeding, right? So to be so distinct that a new language and culture would develop, they would have very little contact with other tribes. That doesn't even account for the amount of time for a new language to develop. What is that? 500? 1,000 years? The facts we know just don't add up. Not enough time to get where they were when we made first contact in the 1500s. To work backwards, I think that to get to 500 Native American languages, North America has been populated for far longer than people think. I'm sure that in the past 100,000 years, nature has taken back almost every aspect of their existence. I can make more points, but for now, I'll hang up and listen off air. Thank you for everything. Keep up the good work. Sean from Wisconsin. Yeah,
Wow, that's cool.
that's a good point. Yeah, it's one of those things like I don't know enough about this kind of thing to say anything. But yeah, it's a great point. Like a new language every 60 years. But is it it's kind of like the way this thing that people say like, oh, there's this many blocks in the Great Pyramid, and that means you would have to, if they did it in 20 years, you'd have to lay a block every, 1 minute or something on average.
Into the
Yeah,
pot.
I think
And Kyle
somewhere around there.
Kyle has expressed like this is the misleading thing about averages, because that's not how any job goes. things get delivered in bulk, and then
Yeah.
stuff is placed simultaneously. Lots of things are happening
Yeah, yeah.
simultaneously, and then there is a period where nothing is happening.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Can you just
Man,
can
I
you?
had a really good analogy about this, and I can't remember what it was.
We're gonna with the nub idea. We're gonna have to look at one of the walls and start counting the nubs and running scenarios of like, okay, if these nubs were vibrated over here, how many down do you have to vibrate? We're gonna have to run that theory on one of the walls.
Well, and I like this idea that because a lot of times there'll just be one nub in a weird spot, right, and it's way off center. And it's like it could either be because that's where they needed it to be specifically for that placement of the block, or they've cut off the part of the block that had the other opposing nub. You know, because it's like you have a block, you put it up there, it has whatever you need to move it. And then when you're going to set the next one, you're looking at the construction of the wall, and you're like, okay, yeah, we're just going to get rid of this entire part of the block. And so the nub is gone. Oh, we have
So
we have
we have lots of super chats. Which
okay,
is
yeah.
cool.
Need to back
But
up.
real quick on the language thing, I don't know if I said this or not, but this was the idea that came into my head was if you had some type of catastrophe or some type of thing that split the population into a bunch of small factions, then over time their languages become distinct. We talked about we had some crazy long argument about this. Why do they become distinct from one another?
Yeah, this tendency to diverge instead of converge.
Our accents become different when we split apart.
I still think it's magnets.
Anyways,
It's magnets.
it happens. So no matter what the reason why it happens is, you could have series of these, like, you know, something splits apart the civilization into a bunch of small factions, and then over the next 1,000 years or hundreds of years or whatever, their language separates or disperses, and then their populations grow in their various areas, and then something happens again and they get split more.
Yeah.
So that was the thing that I thought of. Maybe not perfect.
Yeah.
But nobody's inventing new languages, I think.
But there's
Just
always
the
squabbles.
The long
Except for
heads.
nerds.
Nerds.
But there's
invent
always
them.
squabbles, and people are, you know, maybe they're just not getting along, and they're like, okay, you guys need to start a new place.
So then you change your language?
Maybe so.
Well, I'm just saying, like this idea that in ancient times, people were forced to speak whatever language of their god that they had. You know,
Yeah,
so
that could be a reason.
yeah. And that's another way of divide and conquer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, what do we got?
Before we get too far away from them, let me show these pictures.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
So we'll go back to the pictures here. So
Oh,
here's
yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's a beautiful photo.
So yeah, the
Yeah.
face, the inside, the mating face is here. This one's curving away.
It's hard
from
to even
the-
describe
yeah.
it.
So yeah, the front edge here is further to the right than the back edge, so we can't see it. But over here, the back edge is further to the right than
Yep.
the front edge, and this
So the whole thing
mating
has
face-
this very slight twist. And
yeah,
then
it's It's a twisted,
and then the opposing
flat
block,
surface.
which is much larger, has the opposite
Yep.
twist.
so they match.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's going
And
to be
that-
very
that-
structurally sound,
It's
right?
crazy because he's got another photo that shows that this yeah, so there it is. That's the same large
Yeah.
block. That twist on that large block crosses into the block below, so it crosses two
Yeah.
blocks, and then of course that large block is sitting into an inside corner. I mean, the whole thing, you're just like,
Yeah.
what?
It's beautiful.
And then look at you see the indent. It's a reverse nub on the bottom. Ah, my God, I just love this kind of stuff. We got to
Yeah.
get down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another one here.
Yeah.
And then you can see this block here sitting down just
Yep.
a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit set in. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know what they were doing, but one way to do this would be to vibrate these rocks until they ground themselves flat against each other.
Yeah.
Or can I not say that's not flat? It's curved. But they would grind themselves to match.
To have matching surfaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back. All right. So,
Yeah,
make sure I
scrolling up.
caught them all.
Yeah. Okay. That we did. We did.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
My head is neutrally buoyant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now Schleppy. 535.
A green
Canada.
flash.
Here's a little green flash for some Rub A535. Hey you. Is that something for my arm?
Maybe. Yeah. It's some kind of
My
is it
shoulder?
A salve.
Rub A535.
I have
Oh,
no
yeah, maybe
idea
it's
what
a
that is.
product.
Yeah. Edfu.
Edfu, text you later.
Hey team, Kyle. Hope you get better soon, bro. By the way, I have been listening to the Bob Briart lectures on ancient Egypt recommended by Luke Caverns. Highly recommend. Free on Audible with premium. Snakes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Matt Bartleson, $10. No comment, or he just I think number one is what he's saying there. Thank you.
And it's his first super chat on
Oh,
a live
okay.
stream.
Okay.
So good for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Oh no. Sabinator, $5. Any chance you could interview Bruce Sees All? That would be awesome.
Who's that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay,
So
make a
probably
little note.
probably a
Probably
low
not.
chance.
I might look him up.
I
Yeah,
have to
look
say,
him up.
just the name makes me. Yeah. Thought on Fire, $20. Kardashev scale Type 2 civilization decides to manufacture a planetoid and place into orbit of a rocky planet with the gravitational forces of the. Okay, this is a moon question. With the gravitational forces of the planetoid's placement after the planet's axial tilt alter the planet's axial tilt equilibrium. No. Nope.
Okay.
These guys.
Is that the? I don't know. I don't
figure
know
out-
what. I'm not even sure. So I'm just like,
Why-
is that the answer?
Why
I
do
guess.
you? I don't understand.
I guess it's no.
So you
We're
place a
being
planet there?
giving a fantastic hypothetical. So first we have a Type 2 civilization, which is on the Kardashev scale means that they have harnessed all of the energy of their star.
the star.
So we take that as a given. Okay. Now they are building a planet. And then they're placing it into the orbit of a non-constructed planet. Would the gravitational force of the constructed planet alter the non-constructed planet's axial tilt?
Equilibrium.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to. Like, you could make it maybe.
Yeah, maybe it would, but
It also depends
Doesn't
on,
have to.
like, what is the construction of the constructed planet? What are the materials?
How
What is
big
its
is it
gravitational gradient? How big is it? How far
Yeah.
away is it? Yeah.
But this was
Not
a great
necessarily.
question. This is almost like a round of Jeopardy with Russ. Like, ask him a space question, and I want to see him work through it.
it could,
It could.
but it doesn't have.
It doesn't have to. Yeah.
Explain why magnets.
Explain why magnets. We have this old debate. I think we've gone over it on the
Look.
show back in the day. Oh, Kyle's gonna
Wait a
Kyle,
minute.
Let Kyle explain it because he disagrees.
Why magnets? Because without magnets, nothing would stay together.
That's right.
We have to have it. You would fall through your chair.
Speaking specifically about the language problem, which is what I think they're referencing, because I was like, you were talking about why do languages diverge, and I was like, magnets.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I just thought this was just explain why magnets. Because
I have this weird idea that and I don't believe this. I just think it's an interesting possibility that geographical location on the planet, on Earth, with its variations in the local surface level magnetic field, alter brainwaves enough to cause accents to appear. I just have this idea, like maybe this is the explanation for why, like a bunch of people from, for example, the UK can move to Australia and in a very short amount of time all have a different accent in the way that they speak that language, like a noticeably different accent. It shifts to that accent quickly and then stops shifting, like it has normalized to the local magnetic field there.
I see what you're saying.
And the natives there, they have a bunch of different languages they all speak. I don't know about accents and all that, but I know that when they start speaking English, they also sound like, they have this Australian accent. It's noticeable. So it's like, is that just how, if you if you grow up in Australia or whatever, the magnetic field just kind of shifts your.
It like throws your
Now,
tongue around in your mouth.
obviously, there's lots of variables. Like if you're born there and you grow up, you hear it. That's how you speak it. My question is why did it change to this in the first place? Because, like, in other words, English parents are going there and raising their children. Why do their children have these accents enough to where it changes very quickly?
I don't know.
So, and then the same thing with the U.S. People from the UK and other places, they come over to the East Coast of the U.S. and the accent shifts pretty rapidly into something that is very noticeably non-UK. And then when those people start moving south, it shifts again into something that's noticeably non-Northeastern. So I just have this idea that it may be like having something to do with very slight alterations in brainwaves from the Earth's magnetic field. I don't know.
You might be onto something. This is kind of new stuff to me. I'm trying to take it on here and think about what you're saying.
Basically, you're saying that if you go from being right side up to upside down, you start talking
Right.
really weird.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a good theory.
Snipes!
All right, we'll be right back.
Oh, wow, that was fast.
And we're back already. We didn't go anywhere, actually. But breaks are tradition. So we just do them even when we don't need to.
They're good for you.
I did see somebody on YouTube.
It was enough for Russ to complain about the air conditioning.
Yeah,
Then
that's
you had to
all that needed to happen. Is I needed to take off the hoodie because Laura rolls in with short sleeve. I have long sleeves. This is going to be a problem. I
Yep.
should have noticed this right off the bat. I did notice somebody on the YouTube comments say that the brakes make him. He was like, "You should get rid of the brakes. They make me subconsciously want to go to a different video, even though I don't." He's like, "I don't actually want to, but." The brake shows up and he's like, I need to go to the next video.
I think that you might just need to like kind of take a break from the screen a little bit more.
Yes, yes.
Maybe you're kind of getting like a habit built in.
The advertising
Yeah.
model has got you
Yeah.
freaking in their grip, bro.
Yeah. Did you do a New Year's
There's no
resolution?
ads.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Well, YouTube puts ads in those brakes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I understand. I get what you're saying, but I think that's what's going on with you. So anyway.
They should be skippable, though. I told YouTube no non-skippable ads, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I should check. But I hate non-skippable
Well, I
ads,
agree
so-
with you.
Yeah.
If there's ads in the break, go watch something else.
Go watch
Fuck
something
that.
else. Yeah.
I
Just change.
totally agree.
All right. Okay. This is a very, very long email. Let's see. Do I need to go through all of this?
Wow, that's...
Oh, no. I don't want to go through any of this, actually. No, because at the end he told me you owe me a reply, which means I am not going to read it at all.
Uh-oh.
Scott can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Live.
okay. What's this one?
It comes with a meme.
It does. This is called Great Pod. It says, "Hey, Snake Bros, I haven't yet caught up to your most recent pods, but I started from the very beginning, and I love every episode. Your subjects are so interesting, go way into the nitty-gritty details of this planet's wild history. Just wanted to say thank you for expanding my brain 72 times over. Ding, ding. Bell's way over there. Cheers, you slithery legends. P.S. I found a funny meme you guys might enjoy." Okay. Plato means broad in Greek. There are recorded instances in Aristotle's notes of Plato settling debates by standing up and flexing. He was an Olympic gold medal wrestler. Plato was a Chad. So he's got a picture. Plato, I don't think that helps your argument. And he just stands up. He's like, shut up. Okay.
All right. We got a super chat from... Oh, wait.
What?
That's
Okay.
Hey, Lauren.
Hey, girl.
$2. More magnets.
More magnets.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro.
Was there another one
Yeah, there
below
was
that?
another one.
There is. They like your magnet theory. I think it's shit.
Yeah, Kyle is never. He's just like
I'm gonna consider it.
Rex, $20. So, are the nubs where they attach the sonic sources to vibrate the stones into place? Go Snakes.
I think that's what you were saying.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Thank you
I
for that.
also like Laura's
1999.
idea that nubs are calities waiting to happen.
Yeah, but I don't think that one's
Well,
as
they
good
can
as-
have a dual purpose, right?
Yeah.
You have nubs for being able to maneuver the stones into place, and then you can also use them to induce the rapid vibration that seats it into the other stones.
Yeah,
And then you can later cut them off, or you can be like, leave that one because I'm going to make a cavity right
Yeah.
there.
So you would need
Or-
something to clamp onto.
Yeah.
You'd have to have a very rigid way of like clamping onto the stone.
Yeah.
I got it. They're leaving those nubs there. They're using them first for what you're saying.
Uh-huh.
They're leaving them there for people to do the bouldering, you know? It's just so people can grab on and like climb up.
They're too big, too far apart.
Did giants
Maybe
live
this
here?
was giants. Yeah, it was giants.
Giants just step over the wall. though.
Well, little giant.
Okay.
then. Okay.
Little giants.
Thanks, Rex. All right, we got people. Some people have problems. No, they don't get ads because they have YouTube Premium.
There you go.
So all they get in the breaks is the music.
The
and they're
music
saying,
and
don't change it.
and Troy's awesome graphics.
Pro breaks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see what's going
Thanks,
on.
Troy.
I think I was confused for a minute.
All right.
I like the breaks. I have no plans to remove them. I'm just saying I do see people say. I thought this was an interesting comment. It was actually constructive. He wasn't like your breaks are dumb. He was just like, hey, like I love your videos. I don't actually want to go watch something else, but the breaks sort of give me this like subconscious like I need to change videos. So
Well, just stay with us, bro.
I think he does.
Yeah, just keep staying with us.
Well, I'm on your side. I was totally against you at first, but now I agree. Okay. But we're not going to change the breaks. I like them too.
Yeah, the breaks are great for us.
You know, if
Both
Russ,
of us
tells me no more breaks, there won't be. anymore.
Both of us are like, I mean, they're part of it is a tradition. Many of you probably know the story, but we can tell it again quick. That when we first started the podcast, we were in this cube, and we had an AC unit in here that was incredibly loud. So the only way that we could do a 2-hour show was every 30 minutes we had to stop recording so that we could turn the AC on and cool it back down because we couldn't run the AC during the show because it was so loud. So that started the tradition of the break every 30 minutes. Now we have a very quiet AC that runs the whole time. We don't have to do that, but the breaks are useful. It helps us sort of regroup. A lot of times, especially on the pre-recorded shows, the ones that aren't live, when we go into breaks, we'll have long discussions about where we're going next, what points we want to bring up. We don't always do that. Sometimes we're like, let's get right back to it, but it helps.
And it's also for me to ask all those really dumb questions that I ask, but I don't actually put them in there. I actually ask them live, so I don't really utilize
You
that.
need to utilize the
space
breaks more.
I actually just go pee mostly.
Yes, it's also for bathrooms. And Kyle and I, we both have injured backs, so it's great to be able to kind of stand up and stretch, walk outside.
But
I don't want to sit here for 2.5
For
hours.
those of you who are claiming that it's a smoke break,
Yeah. We just smoke during the show.
Why? We don't need that.
But I would like to say that when I listen, if I just pop it on in my car and listen. Oh, thank you. Did you bring my wine glass? Oh, thank you.
Oh no.
It's about to get a little different in here. I'm trying to finish my thought, guys.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, when I listen, when it gets to the break, it's nice music to listen to, obviously, babe. But it gives my brain a minute to kind of just think about whatever was being talked about, I guess.
Yeah.
I like them personally because I'll ponder a little bit longer on that, and
Yeah.
then you guys come back on. I've heard some music, and
Yeah. Well,
So-
I can tell you this. The first mysteries podcast that I got into, Ancient Mysteries, sort of like the kind of stuff we do, like it's paranormal, it's ancient mysteries, all this kind of stuff, was Mysterious Universe. And they had music breaks. And I don't think either one of them make music, but what they would do is they'd go find really cool stuff that they liked from SoundCloud, and then they would either get permission from the guy and they would post, here's the link to the music we used for this break.
that's cool.
And I think they would have 2 breaks in each episode, and they'd play a minute and a half or something of like some really cool song, and I loved it. I'm listening to the shows, and like they'd get done with some section and they were going to shift topics, and then the music would come in, and I'd get to listen to some cool music for a minute or so, and then they'd go back in. And sometimes I'm like, damn, that song was badass, and I'd look through the show notes and I'd click the link and I'd download it, and it would go into my playlist or whatever for a while. So I thought that was cool. Now I know that most other shows like ours don't have breaks, but I like it, and Kyle has tons of music, and it's a great way for us to use it and to get it out there.
Yeah.
So I have no intention of getting rid of the breaks. Sometimes
like
we do
playing
shows where I'm like, we're just going to have one. We're going to go for an hour. We're going to have one break, and then we'll go for another hour. Like sometimes we do that with guests, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be every 30 minutes.
Yep.
But that's the standard, and that's how we
Old
mostly do
school
it.
radio talk show.
Yeah.
Style. It's cool. I dig it too.
I need the breaks
And
when
like,
I'm
look,
in here.
Troy, you see, he's like, breaks also give you time to fix any of the 0 mistakes that
Right.
might be
Oh, yeah, all
happening.
the edits that we
Yeah.
don't do, they happen then too.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Do we have another question up there? There was a scroll up.
Oh yeah, yes we do. We have.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Something
Okay,
about
I read that
Hawaii.
one.
Here we
Oh,
go.
Here we go.
Animator and fiddler, $10. In Hawaii in the 1800s, there were folks from dozens of countries: South Asia, China, Japan, South America, seaports. Toddlers in diapers created an entire language by themselves in one generation.
Wow.
Interesting. I'll have to read about that. But that's all. Magnets work fast, bro. That's all I have to say. Edfu, $5. Were the nubs identification for placement of blocks? Okay, as in they mapped it out what blocks go where. Easy identification method.
Oh, that's a thought.
Maybe I'm pretty sure that the nubs come from the quarry. I think that they're there starting with the quarry. There are some quarries. This is the thing. Some quarries have nubs in the wall, so it's like
You know what they might be?
it's not a block. It's the damn quarry wall. So it could be that they have left the nubs there because that will be a block.
You
in
know
the
what it
future.
might be is when they're cutting out the blocks, they trench around the area and then they start to go underneath and along the long axis. So at some point they break the rock off.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then they
and
pull
there's-
it out. So it's going to have this long bar
Yeah.
of that where they actually broke it off that's going across, and then they could take a bunch of that off but leave.
Yes. There's actually at Ollantaytambo in Peru.
There's
one
a
of the
long
giant.
bar.
It's a long bar.
Yeah.
Nub. Yeah.
So it could be the points at which they broke the rock and then they just leave it that way. A lot of people have suggested that maybe these nubs were a way to always have the rock have a space where you can get
get under it. Get
lines
around it.
under it
Yeah.
to lift and all that, which makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
when it's sitting
Multiple
flat,
uses,
it's harder
yeah.
to pick up. So yeah, they would be a bitch, when you're trying to stack, if you're trying to stack blocks.
Yeah.
I guess you could turn them all sideways, but you couldn't make. I don't know. I guess that.
Yeah, you
wouldn't
can't make a pile of bricks like we can now, where it's this
They
cube.
would just have to have
of bricks.
spaces. They
Yeah.
would have to have spaces between
Yeah.
them. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, and
those
then
are
if
all
you're
good
like,
ideas.
if they were helpful for keeping the block up off the ground so you can get stuff underneath it, and then you stack them all with the nubs to the sides, then you've
you've taken away.
you've ruined that.
I can't remember.
It's an either or.
Yeah.
situation.
Obviously, I haven't been to Egypt yet, but there's nubs there, correct? Are there- yeah, there-
absolutely.
Do any of the Egyptologists or the guys that tell you the first story, when you're doing your tours, has anybody? What do they say? Does anybody even know what they say about the nubs? Has anyone ever asked them? Is it not part of their
I think
spiel?
the official story is that they're just for lifting and maneuvering.
Yeah,
and
they're
stone.
lifting bosses, and that. So I would say it's clearly that for
It is.
some, like there are, in the Cairo Museum, there are beautiful, stone boxes with lids that have clear like twin
Yeah.
nubs on
Okay.
the lids they stick out really far. They're not these little tiny things, and they seem like it's clearly a lifting boss.
Okay.
And then some of the lids have them going in.
Yeah,
It's slots
yeah.
where you could get something underneath and lift it. So
We got nubs here.
But I would say, like, going back to the idea that
Hold that in there.
going back to the idea that there's a mapped plan for the wall, I agree with that, especially because in some cases, like, there is at least one hallway in the Valley Temple where you can see that there's blocks, at least one row of blocks going up that just completely, they're mirror matches of the blocks on the
Yeah.
other side, right? So it's like they weren't just
no, these were planned.
they weren't randomly putting blocks up there at whatever size they had. They had plans, and so you can see, like, here's a long block, here's one that's got this particular shape against that one, and there's another one up here that's
Now, maybe-
exactly matches all the way down.
Yeah. Now maybe in the doorways, I mean, where you're just in the middle of a broad wall, there doesn't necessarily have to be a plan. But as you approach a doorway where there's going to be a lintel, they become more like you can see patterns on
Oh, I
either
see.
side of the door
Yeah.
that are the same, and then it gets random, and then it goes back to patterns on either side of the door, and then it goes more random again.
I
So
see
there's
what
like a
you're
clear
saying.
plan.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're in the middle of a wall, it's like, yeah, just take the next
Throw 'em
stone,
up
take
there,
the next
yeah,
stone,
okay.
fit it, whatever. So, and I think, this is another way to look at, and I think Gantenbrink, Rudolf Gantenbrink pointed this out in the UPAL project, when he was driving the robot up the shaft, is that the joints would all be kind of a certain way, and then suddenly they would change. The joints change in this very specific way for this little part, and then they go back to being the way they were along the stretch of the tunnel. And his theory, which I think is probably correct, no, I didn't say Siri. His theory.
Theory.
Anyways,
Hey, theory.
that those joints changed in a place where, so there must have been a chamber or something that was nearby, a void, that they had to change the structure of the blocks, and therefore the joints changed.
I see what you're saying. I totally
Anyways,
get
that
it.
was kind of an aside, but
And so Chip in here's got a good point. Could you build any of those structures without a plan? I don't think so.
No,
That,
no
yeah,
way.
it
They
was
have
all
to be
planned,
planned.
but I'm just
from the
it's-
ground up.
Yeah, it's just interesting how people have said that these heterogeneous walls are just like, well, you got a stack of blocks from the quarry and you're just putting them up there, whatever, and you're fitting them to each other in place, and it's sort of organic process. No, I think it's all planned out. The shapes, everything, because it's they were making it earthquake proof. They're like going around the whole thing about going around the corners. It's like this block is alternating with that block going around the corner.
But-
That's what makes certain things, like, again, in the Valley Temple, there's one block, a very large one, in the big open sort of column hall that is made of diorite. All the rest of it's red granite, and there's this black diorite giant square block on the floor there, and you're just like, okay, they planned all this out. Why is that block different from all the rest of it? And you could kind of dismiss it like, well, this is what they had. And they just were like, well, we need a block here and we don't have one to fit, so let's use that one. No, this is all planned out. So what is the purpose of this particular block that's different? And then the same thing with, you go in and they've used limestone core, and then they've used the rose granite as a facing. They've got one black diorite, and then they've put this beautiful polished calcite floor tiles in
Alabaster,
there, and alabaster.
I
It's
see
all planned.
different materials for different parts of the house or the structure, whatever. I totally get it. I've never thought about it like that.
It's
before.
because the Pharaoh's wife was like, crystal floors.
Yeah, I want this. Yeah,
Crystal floors.
That's what it was.
Sir.
Yeah.
He was like, all right.
The client's always right.
Yeah. I want black there, and I want red there.
Give me the crystal.
Yeah. Yep. That's what it was. Okay, where are we going now?
Next email.
Somebody's made a big mistake of making a drinking game out of every time we say nubs. So if you've decided to drink every time we say nubs, and then we know that that's what you're doing, that you're going to take a shot every time I say nubs, well, now you have to take 3 no more shots because I've said nubs 4 times now.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's,
you
that's
have
mean, bro.
Yeah. Let's just talk about nubs for the rest of the show.
I wasn't even catching that. I didn't know that was going on yet. Oh, I see. Now somebody had to take a shot. I see it.
So one more thing about the planning. It would be, I can see how it would be somewhat difficult to, if there's this idea of like you set the stone in there and then you vibrate it, and it's taking away material from both stones from wherever the mating faces are until they're flat up against each other, that you would have discrepancies that were not anticipated, because maybe you've got the right size stone, but it actually doesn't take as much to grind away until the face is mating, or it takes a little more, and so then it sinks a little deeper, and now it's a little too low, so then you have to compensate.
Yeah.
And as you're going along, as you're doing each course, you're going to have to compensate. So you would have to have at least you'd have to have this plan that would have the stones in such a size that if you wanted to get to this exact height at the finished product, that you would need to know that you had enough material to compensate for all of that
I see what
grinding
you're
away.
saying.
And not end up too low, or your last stone would have to be much bigger than it should have been, or you'd have to have a small stone at the top.
I totally see what you're
So,
saying.
I guess if you worked with this style for long enough, you could know sort of what your limits were, and then you could.
Yeah, if you
make
become
sure-
a professional.
Yeah, they were obviously professionals.
Yeah. See,
But I don't know. This is just the way I'm thinking about how you would have to think as an engineer to build a project like that.
And I guess I've always been under the impression that they knew that a cataclysm was on the horizon at some point, and so that they also wanted a structurally sound building. So I guess I've always thought that helps.
Yeah, the idea that
But I don't know where I'm getting that. Maybe you guys.
Well, I mean, if you're building for the ages, even if there isn't an imminent cataclysm, but you want your structure to last as long as possible, you build it knowing you're going to have earthquakes, you're going to have impacts, you're going to have terrible storms, tornadoes, whatever, rain, wind.
So building little areas that are locking in place,
Yeah.
just like that,
Yeah.
will be better.
And no long split area, no weak areas, like a brick wall that like the kind we build, every layer is a weak point in the wall. If the whole wall is rocking back and forth like this, then every place where the mortar is joining each layer of bricks is a place where it can break off, right? Or you'll see the brick walls with a jagged split in it if it goes this way. Yeah.
They're handles to grab onto if you're being sucked away by wind and you're flying across the wall, you can grab in a hurricane or a tornado.
But the cool thing about this kind of construction, which is mortarless, is that if you've got, and maybe you can see this in the way that anti-earthquake technology is being used in places like Japan, where the high-rise buildings have these, they're all set on these amazing, I don't know what to call them, like earthquake bearings, where it's a short column, and basically the whole building on top can
Oh.
Inertia will make the building stay straight, but the ground is going like this.
Okay.
Right.
Kind of like the concept of a bridge or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. So
So like the building will just stay in place while the ground is moving all over the place, and there's a mating surface where it can slide around or roll around on there, and the building
okay.
above doesn't end up doing this stuff because it's locked onto the ground. So these walls can act in the same way when you have an event like a vibration in the earth. The blocks are not glued to each other, so they can sort of move around independently, and the wall is more solid. Yeah, Kyle's pulling up one of the
Oh.
earthquake-proof buildings, and there's cool physics demonstrations. Think of it if you have something on a tray, right, Laura? Like let's say you've got a bowl on a tray. If you start moving the tray back and forth real fast, the bowl will sort of stay in place. If you overcome the coefficient of friction, right? That's the idea.
And that's why we want to put a cloth
You put a doily on there.
between these two. So I can come out with it, and it's not so slippy.
wow, this is really cool. I haven't actually ever looked at these, but
Yeah, they're amazing. It's amazing technology.
let's see. Yeah. Okay.
Wait, can you go back? Oh,
Okay, so this is like a shock absorber almost,
Yep.
maybe.
Yep.
And then we have the mount itself.
Yeah.
This would be I don't know what they call it, foundation mount.
Yeah.
what's in there?
It looks like it's a giant
You
piece
can
of
you can find like
poly.
yeah you can find there are basically just a graphical representation of what happens inside there.
Let me look at a
The
diagram.
ground moves, and the building above stays in place because of inertia, and that whole thing can sort of bend back and forth because inside there is a kind of bearing, like it lets the ground move back and forth without the building move back and forth, but it maintains the support.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Wow, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can move on from
We
that.
can-
Yeah,
but
we can
I
move
just,
on.
That's cool. But yes, so just to your point, like we do. This is an idea. It's not anything we came up with, but we have talked about it before. That is, that this construction style is very stable
Yeah.
for earthquakes. So, people have hypothesized that this is why they built it like. So there was a utility to this style of building that was to make it last. Well, this has also led people to think, well, maybe they knew something was coming, and so they built a bunch of stuff this way, or maybe they had experienced
see,
it or
yeah.
something like that. So, and then this is kind of part of Russ's presentation on Unfinished, is that in some cases it seems like
They didn't
they
quite.
were in a hurry
Yeah.
when they were building stuff like this,
Yeah.
because they, in a lot of cases, didn't flatten the surfaces, the finished faces that they obviously were planning to do or had partially done before they just vanished.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting idea that they were preparing for a major catastrophe, and then built a whole lot of stuff, dug in a whole lot of tunnels underground, and then
And it looks like we see like they get close to the end of the project and then they can't quite complete it.
or they're
Yeah.
just working until it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when it happens, work stops.
Whatever's
blocks
done
are in
is
the middle
done.
of on their way to the job site. They're half finished, and
That's what's interesting about the Osirian is because it's like, is it a well? Like, what is this structure? It's so deep, and it's got the same kind of, mysterious megalithic construction. And they didn't finish the upper levels. They were in the process of planing off one of the walls when they stopped.
Dude, what if they all actually were just abducted? Like everybody was called back to the mothership at the same time. And there was just a huge ship that came down. I just thought of that. I've never thought about that before.
okay, so we got one more.
Yeah, we're way
So-
overthinking. Okay, Schleppy thinks we're way overthinking all of this. 1080. The first note was likely a quant-suffed mistake a Johnson made in Phase 1 butt flap pyramids. Could be. And then it was like, and then after that it became a tradition.
Yeah, well, when the
Leave the old
when,
Johnson nub on this one.
when
Yeah,
when the other guys on the job site were like, Johnson, what the hell? He was like, bro, It's cool.
Yeah, it's the new trend.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
They're doing this shit on the other side of the world.
Yeah. You want the nub.
So then everybody was like, oh.
You can turn it into a cat or a
Maybe it
lizard.
is.
Hey, you can
Maybe it is
you
cool,
can grab
yeah.
it. You can just grab it.
In the way you would really do it is you would trash him, and then later when you were placing your own stone, you're like, it's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Come back and make this a
Leave a
Kiole
nub
later.
on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Next
so
email.
nubs are done.
That's a lot of shots. Okay.
Shots of beer, hopefully.
Skirpin. This one's
Good night,
called Skirpin.
Chuck, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Good night, Chuck. Skirpin, this is from Jeff. Gentlemen, not sure if this email still works or if it will be relevant for you. I'm working my way through the back catalog, but I'm only in 2020. I'm caught up on Cosmographia. You spoke of the Betz Sphere, and I'm pretty sure episode 134 on February 13th, 2020. Possibly 133 the week before, but I don't think so. Anyway, I missed part of it while multitasking, and I Googled it up afterwards. I landed on Wikipedia, the world's most accurate research tool. That Wikipedia's write-up is very, nothing to see here, just a part of a valve that fell off of a truck from a Chinese lantern. It isn't at all a surprise. What I did find surprising was that the reference dates for the websites accessed presumably to write the page were all February 19th of 2020. Judging by the dates, you may have caused this bit of Wikipedia skirpderpin. They are listening, maybe, probably, and actively working against you, maybe. Buy some spy gear just to be safe. You'll enjoy the NVG even if you don't need them. Thanks for all you do. I hope to catch up before 2026, and I hope to join you on one of your tours someday sooner than that.
Yep.
From Jeff.
That'd be great.
Thank
So
you.
he's basically saying, we published our episode on the Bet Sphere, and then 2 days later, somebody on Wikipedia is like, no.
That's funny.
Hilarious. All right, is it break time yet? Oh no. Okay, we got
Almost.
Yeah,
It's almost. I don't know if we got enough time to give somebody justice.
Yeah.
For their email.
Yeah. What's the actual stream time there?
Yeah, I was gonna go.
It's
look.
you can see it.
Yeah,
in
here we are.
Yeah,
We're good. We'll take a break.
Yeah.
Let's see what's jamming
Yeah,
on
stream
the old
stream time is
Yeah,
an hour and a
yeah,
half. Oh
yeah.
Okay. Snacks.
Oh. Yeah.
Never heard of the Electric Universe here at Brothers of the Serpent podcast.
What is that?
I do want to go back to Thought on Fire's thing about the moon. Like, I love all the moon speculation. It is the idea that the moon is like some kind of ship that's brought here. I love this idea.
Me too.
Would it affect Earth if it was moved into orbit? Yeah. I don't think that it has to change the axis, though. It could, right? So I just wanted to say that. Like, maybe I was a little too abrupt in responding to that comment before, but it's like, yes, if the moon was put in place and they wanted it to shift the axis, then yes, they probably could use it to do that.
Okay,
But
so
it doesn't have to do that.
we've got these two huge blobs down in the mantle. One, like under the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
They're these giant chunks, and the standard model idea is that this rogue planet hit the Earth, and big pieces of it sank down into the mantle, and some of it was blown out into, escape velocity, and then ended up orbiting the Earth and coalescing to be the moon.
Yeah.
Now, the moon's orbit is tilted like 5 or 6 degrees to the Earth's axis, or to the Earth's equator.
And it kind of wobbles, right? Or it rolls around or something.
Yeah, it has its own little
it's got
precession.
yeah.
So, in other words, like if you've got these dense objects or objects large enough that are in the interior of the planet, so the planet isn't perfectly homogeneous. It's not perfectly balanced. Like, forget the crust. It's tiny. It's thin. It's just almost
Yeah.
negligible.
Yeah.
But if you have these two massive objects that are off center, in other words, then the Earth has maybe more than one moment of, or what do you call it? Center of gravity.
Yeah.
I
mean, you can average it out and get
I don't know.
you can anything that has multiple centers of gravity, you can average it out and get a center. But
Yeah, of course.
right. But if it's got two major densities in there, then you can say
Then they have their own
Yeah,
centers.
right.
So anyway, and then you have this body on the outside, and its orbit is, so in other words, it's going above. So you got your Earth axis and its equator, and this body out here is going above its equator and then below
yeah.
in its orbit, and then you have these off-center,
Blobs.
high-density
Yeah.
or low-density objects. I can see how it could cause this. It starts pulling the axis around.
Yeah.
So maybe the axis was stable, and then that sort of thing takes place, and then it starts to pull on that axis and give it this wobble.
Yeah.
Troy says inner Earth nubs.
Is the moon the Papa Nut?
That's so mean, you guys. It was a fun drinking game.
All the people who were participating in that drinking game are now
They're gone.
unconscious.
Yeah.
Just switch to beers. Just take a swig of a beer. Good grief, shots.
Oh, somebody says, will Randall ever talk about the moon? I don't know. We've been asking him to talk about the moon for years.
He talks about the moon on tours.
He does.
Well,
Yeah.
what he said to Laura and I on one of the tours was he's never not talking about that.
Yeah,
true.
that's
He
right.
did
He
say
says,
that.
I'm never not talking about the moon. So there you go. He's always
I think-
talking
He's
about
always
it.
talking.
I can actually see that could be true because there's all these things are connected. Anyway, the moon is a harsh mistress.
I'm actually, yes, that's a great moon book. I was disappointed in Heinlein.
Ooh,
that
I
they-
should read that.
Yeah,
Great.
It's a great moon book. I was disappointed in Heinlein that nowhere in there did they find any ancient weird stuff. You know, they're digging tunnels and making
Well,
cities.
dude, because it took place far in the past. The whole story.
Oh.
That's how you.
Yeah. I'm actually going through another weird moon book right now. It's pretty cool. It's called, what is it called? It's something like somebody else is on the moon, I think is something like that.
Oh.
It's an older one, but this guy basically flips out on, he's looking at all these NASA photos and he's like, look, there's structures. People talk about structures. There's arches, there's towers, there's Anyway, I've just started it. It's really interesting, but you can tell this dude is like he's basically been driven crazy by all these anomalies that he's found on the moon. So this book is about everything he's found and his conversations with NASA scientists and how he's like he keeps going back to them until they're finally like, okay, yes, we have seen anomalies in this crater that you're talking about. We know what you're talking about. Yes, we've seen that. And he's like, what is it? And they're like, we don't know.
Oh, I thought they were going to say it's classified.
So a question from Death Lord Braden isn't that the idea behind the Milankovitch cycles? I thought the Milankovitch cycles had to do with Earth's orbit around the sun.
Yeah.
Like it's an ellipse, and that ellipse kind of gets longer and narrower.
It becomes
and
more
fatter
elliptical,
and more circular.
And that whole thing rotates.
And and it's also sort of
yeah.
what he said. So 44,000 years or whatever, something like that. There's this cyclical action of the ellipse. So in other words, when the ellipse becomes narrower, the Earth spends a lot more time further from the sun than if the orbit is circular.
Yeah.
When the orbit is circular, it's actually closer to the sun.
And what's interesting is that when the I think this is right, because I always thought that when I found this out. Oh, go ahead.
Real quick,
go ahead.
one more point about it.
All right.
When it's long and
That's
narrow,
one more point.
it has positions that are closer to the sun, but the Earth's moving much faster
Yeah.
when it's close.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then when it gets way out here, it slows down. So you get a lot more time further from the sun. Okay, now I'm done. Go ahead.
You're right. Maybe that's right. I thought that there was something in there that was like non-intuitive, that it's the more circular orbit that results in colder periods, because the more elliptical orbit has periods where the Earth gets much more heat and stuff can melt.
Now that could be true. I don't know.
Even though it has longer, colder periods where it's farther away, it has hotter summer periods where stuff can melt away. So the circular ones are where you have ice build up over time.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
I know one thing. I guess Kepler discovered this. This is cool. That the orbit sweeps, no matter where it's positioned, the same area. So if you take this orbit, the ellipse, and you have the duration of time from point A to point B that the planet moves, and then you drew a line to the center to make a sort of a pie piece.
Yeah.
That area inside is the same.
Yep.
No matter what, as long as you keep the duration of time
Duration the same, yeah.
So when it's far away from the sun and it only moves a little tiny bit, but it's this long, narrow pie piece.
Yeah.
It's the same as when it's close to the sun.
Moving very
and
fast.
it moves very fast. And you
Yeah.
got this short, fat pie piece.
Yeah.
It's the same area.
Same area, yeah.
So I wonder if that's what I was thinking about when you were saying it absorbs so much more heat when it's closer.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
So that aspect of it isn't equal. in other
right.
words.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's one of the weird things to think.
It is strange. Okay, Lauren. More moon. $10. More moon. Also, I was making dinner earlier, so here's my delayed. Hey, girl. How rude of me to forget. Lauren from Lauren the Man.
I forgive you.
Old woman, man.
That's got to be my favorite scene of all time in the Holy Grail.
And Anzu, $5. Podcast Other Side of Midnight talks of Stonehenge's 3 parts or so far. Snakes and nubs.
Oh, the podcast is called Other Side
Of Midnight, yeah.
Talk. Okay.
So is that an advertisement for Other Side of Midnight? Okay, check them out.
Yeah.
3 parts on Stonehenge so far. Cool. Oh, this is are you talking about is this the one that Martin is on? We're also going to have Martin on, I think, starting next week, hopefully, if we can work everything out. It's gonna be
Ben's
great.
live with Grimerica.
But yeah, so we're competing with Ben.
Oh, dang it.
What are the likes down or something? Or are we tracking this?
Should we go? Hey, should we pull up their live stream on our live stream?
I would just sit there and comment on their live stream on our live stream.
Let's do it.
I feel like that's about to be an epic technical difficulty fail. I just see it coming.
Well, real quick, this is thanks, bros, from Drew, who was did the Little People episodes. He said, "Bros, I just wanted to say thanks again for having me on. It was really fun, and I hope I added something of value to the conversation. Yeah, absolutely, dude. It was great. I also wanted to tell you how happy I am to hear Scotty again. You guys talked to Randall
cool,
and Ben,
man.
and you've met Graham, but the fact that I know some dudes who are friends with Scotty Baldwin, that may be the coolest shit I have ever been affiliated with. Bring on the dancing horses.
is pretty
Cheers
cool.
as ever.
That's cool.
Drew.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good
thanks,
deal.
man. Yeah, it was great fun doing those episodes with you. A great addition to the conversation. The little people and the giants and the missing persons.
Yeah.
Okay, no, not Martin. Okay, sorry, I got that wrong. I know Martin is doing some episodes on his research right now. Okay, and we got a book here. Let's see.
I'm gonna find out.
Okay, Kyle's trying to.
boys are
Kyle
doing.
wants to pull up a whole Grimerica and Ben.
Let's see what these boys are up to.
Well, should I start this
Yeah,
email?
go
Okay. Ancient A and P. This is from Snake Sister Ellie. First of all, I want to say what a treasure trove of unpretentious, brain-expanding conversation I have found in your podcast. Not only does your diverse subject matter and holistic exploration pique my interest, but I also feel a kinship in your general lifestyle. My family and I live and work on a ranch on the western edge of the Edwards Plateau, so the agricultural updates and talk of weather and changing of the seasons are relevant to our lives. This is not to mention the synchronicities that send chills up my spine as I am listening to your back catalog. Even offhanded comments seem to exist in some sort of time warp with my daily life. In episode 29, Russ's Lord of the Flies theory about public education had my palms sweating, pupils dilating, muscles twitching, and cranial pressure escalating. We started homeschooling our two sons a few years ago with the initial...
I do understand the geometric kind of the
Sorry.
What did I say?
We started homeschooling our two sons a few years ago with the initial impetus based on some unreconciled feelings about mine and my husband's own school experiences. This theory really connected the dots for me and provided affirmation about our decision. Our number one priority is just to stay curious, and one of our main mechanisms for learning is exploring the flora, fauna, and lithics atop this ancient seabed. It is so good to know that there are like-minded individuals in our neck of the woods. Man, that's awesome.
Great.
Thank you for that. And hey, girl, Snake Sister.
The main purpose of this email is to present you this. Inspired by one of Randall's presentations on sacred numbers, I set out to read the Bible front to back with these eyes. Upon a pretty intense etymological study of the names and places used in the stories, it became very clear that there was a much deeper and more sophisticated knowledge being conveyed than I could ever have imagined. This coalesced with journeys down rabbit holes in sound therapy, Eastern medicinal concepts, and cutting-edge science in regard to my own personal health. Long story short, my grand theory is that the mythologies of the ancient world are all primarily based on an intimate understanding of human anatomy and physiology, and that any understanding of the cosmos and nature are secondarily perceived through the structure and processes within us. In what ways they came to this understanding, it's hard to say. Surgical anatomical study, like as in the Ica stones, psychedelic experiences, large-scale epidemiological studies, extraterrestrial or interdimensional intelligences, or all of the above. This is the mystery that keeps the search going. It is my belief that this theory may also provide some insight into things like lost technologies, precision measurement, and even bowling pin hats and other ancient headwear. Example, the Phrygian cap and the Pope's fish god mitre hat. We are the walking, talking models for pyramidal power plants. We are the rulers, quote unquote, for everything. As above, so below, truly manifested. Ourselves are the only things we can know for sure. Philosophies and religions arose out of different ways of knowing how the human body related to the universe. While the standard model is not completely wrong in attributing much of ancient mythologies to agricultural cycles, that is a superficial explanation. It seems to me that it was more about the way the human condition was affected based on the availability of food, sunlight, and other substances. If the post-Diluvian world was environmentally very different from the previous, it follows that a whole new systems of gnosis had to be developed to account for all the changes. Ancient Egypt seemed particularly interested in the digestive system, which is being affirmed in modern science with discoveries about the gut-brain axis. Sun cults seem to be focused more on the cardiopulmonary system, Vedic traditions were well versed in the subtle electromagnetic centers of the body. Ancient Greece seemed to be very mindful of how the chemical elements affected the body, hence their reverence for places that they knew had received some sort of cosmic infusion. And by the time of the teachings of Christ, the idea was not to get bogged down in all of these details and that the body could regulate itself on thought or faith alone. I see signs that modern society is slowly crawling out of a hole made during the Dark Ages and reasserted post-World War II after progress in the late 19th and early 20th centuries in regard to the severance of science and spirituality. And after thousands of years of scattering of esoteric knowledge, I am hopeful that current technologies are working towards rebuilding the Tower of Babel. It is inevitable, though, that there will be another fall from great heights, and in this distant time, I like to imagine that future Snake Bros will have so much to contemplate when an archaeological dig reveals a box with a Bible, a science textbook, a flash drive, and an arrowhead. Good luck dating that civilization. My sincerest regards, Snake Sister Ellie. P.S. The whole Snake fam, their Snake fam, is coming to the eclipse at the canyon. Cheers!
Wow.
Yay! Wonderful
That's cool.
email. I love that. I can't wait to meet you.
There's also a PPS, an addition here. The universe has given me a massive download since I sent the previous email. Also, my husband, a fellow listener, totally skirp-derped my idea that we can make magic with our hands. This presentation was my response to him saying, "Prove it." This was the best school project that I've never had. And shout out to the watcher on this. If he could see, I think this would be right up his alley. Oh, there's a PDF in here that I didn't look at from Ellie. Well, thanks, Ellie. I got your
And I will
husband
point out
skirp-derping your idea. That's his job.
For any noobs, when she's talking about rebuilding the Tower of Babel, it's based on a different interpretation of that story than the traditional one, where the tower represents mankind coming together and building civilization, and that it was destroyed by a natural disaster which ended up scattering people throughout the earth, dispersing them.
Yeah.
And losing that technology. So
Hey, Lala C. Hey, Wild Vic.
hey. So let's see what's going on over on Grimerica.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Let's see.
What has Ben saying?
Going live, folks.
All
right.
Hanging out.
So this is like the box. Like, can you guys see the screen here?
Yep.
So this is the box in the back here. You see that thing in the back?
This is a
I
Temple
think-
of Edfu. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I think that box there is like, obviously it's sacred. I mean, I think that this
I
whole
don't.
temple might.
I don't see the
even-
full screen. I'm on just.
Yeah,
seeing
we
the-
can only just see your.
I like their
What?
Grimerica
window.
graphics there. That's
Yeah.
cool. Look at that.
I do have pictures of that box. I think
You
those-
know,
got my
this is
pictures
a
of
good
the one that
idea.
went
This
in
is
there.
actually
I think
really
it was the
fun.
only one.
No,
Let's see if
no,
any of the
that's
same
my
people are
picture.
in their
That's
chat.
my
When I went in there as well, like in the.
Oh,
Yeah,
did you
who's
get
double
into that
dipping?
chamber? It's the same box. It's the box
Let's
that's
see.
in the holiest of holies at the Temple of Horus at Edfu. That's the same box that's on Elephantine Island, and we know there's destroyed boxes there
Kyle
as well.
put howdy boys
It's like
in the
a weird
chat.
shrine
Yeah,
looking
they
thing
can
with
see
a
it.
bullnose around it. Very, very precisely made.
Yeah, this isn't working for me. I've got.
Technical difficulties.
Zero mistakes,
Okay,
Graham.
Here we go. Now can you
There
see
we
the
go.
full thing?
They got it.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
figured
So,
it
I mean,
out.
look at that. I mean,
Where's-
I love the glare off this, right? But to me, that's the same box that we saw.
That is
scattered
an
on
awesome
Elephantine
box.
Island.
Yeah,
There's
that's a
whole
great
bunch
box.
of them that
Admit.
aren't
100%.
sitting
what
in a
it is.
temple like this. I mean, it
All
might
right.
not be exact.
We love you, boys.
Yeah,
we
that was
love you
good.
guys.
That was
Bye.
good.
Have a good stream.
You know what?
Bye.
Ben always does a fantastic job.
Get the hell out of my
Yeah.
freaking podcast.
All right.
Oh, we got Anzu
Oh,
Love.
Stonehenge is on the moon. That's what you were talking about. Okay.
Oh.
John
move.
John Cinta move.
All right. Let's see. We got next email. This is called Absolutely Love Your Podcast from Chris. I absolutely love your podcast. I've had so much fun learning and looking outside the box on all sorts of different topics. I've always been interested in ancient civilizations, ancient technology, things that we've forgotten, and I believe there's just so much more out there than what we're being told. But on a funny note, you should so make an official Brothers of the Serpent butt flap. I think it would be awesome kind of look at as Brothers of the Serpent Masonic gear, but a butt flap version.
You know, that's a good idea. Babe?
Sorry, I was taking a picture.
You gonna start making some butt flaps?
Oh, well, we need to call in Aunt Meg. I mean, she's got
Yeah.
the prototype made.
She did make us some awesome butt flaps,
Yeah.
actually.
Dude, we should fold up one of those butt flaps and put them in one of the boxes like the last emailer, you know.
Oh, a
having
time capsule?
Uh-huh. A Brothers of the Serpent
Yeah.
butt flap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that. All right.
Okay.
What else you got?
What else we got? This one's called Snakes from Sir Claps-a-Lot, a.k.a. Snake Bro Joe, a.k.a. Joey Casanova, a.k.a. Soda Can Man. Okay. Dear Serpent Bros, I just want to start off by saying that I, too, am a Snake Bro. In fact, I'm such a Snake Bro that I've been a Snake Bro since before I started listening to your podcast. I just didn't know it yet. That aside, I am channeling my inner Sculptard and presenting to you, Snakes, another Serapeum theory.
Aha!
So, everyone talks about the Serapeum boxes, speculating that they were carved and constructed underground, but just because they were found underground does not necessarily mean they were constructed there. Maybe they were being worked on in a different location, and once the Egyptians or whoever occupied that land at that time got wind of catastrophe, they then moved the boxes underground to preserve them. Just a thought from Sir Claps-a-Lot, a.k.a. Snake Bro Joe, a.k.a. Joey Casanova, a.k.a. Soda Can Man. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could be right that maybe none of those boxes originated there.
Can I just see? I just wanted to read it real quick.
Yeah. Kyle's reading it now. He's preparing his rebuttal. And maybe they were all in there, you know, the reason it looks like they were working on them in place is because, like, for example, we have the one box in transit down the hallway and it's incomplete, whereas the boxes that are in the alcoves are complete. And there's a lid that's laying off to the side that's also not polished, sort of incomplete. So it sort of looks like they were moving incomplete boxes in to the tunnels, getting them in place, and then finishing them inside. But you're right. That
Which-
could be misleading. It could be that
It could be.
all those boxes were sitting somewhere else, and they were like, well, don't worry that you haven't finished that one. Take all of them and move them into these tunnels underground.
But the problem with that is, okay, there's a couple of fine points. When they were discovered by Mariette, the lids were already slid open,
Yep.
and damaged.
Yeah.
The lids were damaged. The edges of the boxes where they were obviously prying
Pried at.
and banging were damaged. That was done by Egyptians.
Yeah.
So
Or Romans or whoever it was. That did
whoever
it
it was that got in there was, you know, they were also ancient people to Mariette's day. So the idea that somebody was they didn't even have the technology to move the lids very well without damaging the boxes. So my point is, you would move the box in place and finish it after it was in place because of damaging it in the process of moving it. We
Yeah.
see examples of that elsewhere where they moved something into place that was not finished and they finish it in place. So that seems like a property of these stones, these very hard granite stones that were made. And I think, you know, they're connected. All of these very hard and heavy stones that were moved and finished in place was a style. The one box that is unfinished in the hallway could be the later people's attempt to move a box in there.
Could be.
An unfinished box. They may have tried to push it down the hallway, but it probably would have had sled.
Somebody's asking in there if that box is the same stone type as the other
Yeah.
polished ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not polished.
Right.
It looks, you know.
It's
Very
not the
rough.
rose granite. It's definitely the other stuff. It's just if you polish it, it's gonna have that dark sheen, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And
There is a rose granite box in there, and it looks different from the box that's in the hallway. And the rose granite box is also much more rough than those black boxes, the dark ones. And it has drawings on it, right?
wainscoting on the
Yes,
outside.
that's right. Wainscoting. Yeah.
What's that?
Like a type of decoration, like a paneling.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
like got like panels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what else. If they were finishing, I mean, the finishing in place in this particular instance is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, that's a crazy idea. But that's what it looks like was going on because they were moving rough boxes down there.
People are asking about. This is driving people crazy. Yes, this is a koozie
Jacket.
jacket. It's got a zipper and everything, and it holds a beer. So, I also have one, but I didn't bring it.
He told me that one day you were like, "Did you get your?" And you were,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you get your? Let's see. Wainscoting.
And the other idea that
Oh, I see.
the interesting thing about the possibility that they were being finished in the tunnels is about precision and flatness. Granite is has a high variability due to temperature. So modern day like AAA granite flat surfaces, the kinds that they use to check the flatness of other precision objects, are kept in these sort of like environmentally controlled rooms. They have their own separate room where the temperature is kept very stable, the humidity is at a specific point, and nothing ever changes. So that because if it's if you made the flat surface at, say, for example, 68 degrees, and then you took it outside and it got all the way up to 90 degrees, it would warp and it would no longer be flat. It would it would change
I
a lot.
see. Okay.
Right? Granite will it because it's made up of all these different types of materials, it will shift and it can crack. So
And I was going to say, because it'll have these little specks in it when you're rubbing, sometimes you might catch one and kind of rub it out, and then it makes it a little. Then
yeah.
I don't know. I guess
Well,
that finds
so
it.
the idea, I'm just saying, the idea that they were finished in place is interesting. Number one, because of the technical difficulties, because the way we do this kind of stuff, you need machines, and how are they doing it? And there's not a lot of room in there. The second reason is this is how you do it if you're aiming for precision. So if you want those lids to slide on and you want them to be to have a hermetic seal, where the bottom of the lid is so flat relative to the
Yep.
top flatness of the box itself that it sits on there perfectly and doesn't, there's no gaps. You have to finish it down in the tunnels. If you did the work up on the surface where it can be 120
agree.
degrees because it's in the desert,
And the box would get actually hotter than that.
yeah, because it's black,
It's
it would
just
get
gonna
really
keep
hot. Yeah.
absorbing that heat.
And then you bring it down, and now you finished it and polished it, and you bring it down into the tunnels. Not only are you risking damaging your finished surfaces, but the it's going to warp, and suddenly your lid doesn't sit on the box correctly anymore.
Yeah.
So there's lots of very interesting things about the reason why they may be finishing
Yeah,
the
so
boxes
I think-
in place.
I think that's a good reason why they might be doing it, and yet I still think there is a possibility that, like he said, that these boxes were found somewhere else and they were moved there.
Yeah,
But
it's totally possible.
it
I
is
agree.
possible.
The
It just
tunnels,
doesn't- It's.
the tunnels look hurried.
I think that if
I
that,
mean, like they just went in there and just bored through. They didn't bother finishing them out. It's very rough.
Yeah.
They just
well,
bored through.
also the ceiling is flaking
You're right.
down, so
yeah.
it may have actually looked
And
much better.
that's what I'm saying. They dug it into crappy limestone. Whole tunnel sections have collapsed
yeah.
in the lesser galleries. So
It's just this unfinished box that really makes you question, like, were they finishing them down here?
Mm-hmm.
So it could have been that a box was moved in there unfinished by somebody, and they failed and couldn't move it any further, and they abandoned the project. But that they had found the site with all the boxes already in it, and they're just like, oh, let's move a box in there too.
by the way, Chase has said the new shot word is box. So you guys are screwed. We've already said it 20 times at least.
Should we go see what Ben's saying about boxes?
And I want to take a minute because we missed it. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I want to say what's up to Bruce and to his wife Deb. Shout out to
Oh,
Deb.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
girl.
Howdy, howdy.
And Chip is asking, did they finish it in the dark with no lights? Like, how are they working on these boxes? It's a good question.
Yeah. Yep. And I don't know if, the interior of that tunnel system was covered in soot everywhere from, because it was
Used.
known about
Yeah.
for a long time. and in the standard model has it being there for, I guess, hundreds of years being used or
Yeah.
something. For their ideas, of course, the Apis bull the mummified bull remains, and every time they would have the Apis bull mummy or whatever, they'd bring a new box and put it in a new alcove. So there should have just been soot all over the place.
Yeah.
There isn't. Now, is that because the Department of Antiquities cleaned it, or because the soot fell off? Has been flaking off.
It was also a lot of it was tiled, and the tiles are all gone, right? So that may be part of it. Like, we know that there were big granite slabs in the walls, in the alcoves, and then the ceilings were
But
tiled, and that's just all that stuff's gone.
Mariette also claimed that he found one alcove full of sand and a box on top of the sand.
Yeah. Right.
And so then
he
he was like looking at it like, okay, this is how they lowered it down. They filled the chamber with sand. They shoved the box in there, and then they dig out the sand. And he thought that the cutouts on the sides were for guys to dig the sand out.
Yeah.
So he sent a couple of his guys in there, and they dug the sand out and lowered the box down.
Yeah.
Which box is that?
Right.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it's not
Doesn't
clear
say.
from his. It's not clear.
But there is a limestone box
Yeah.
in there that clearly does not belong.
Right. Yeah, it's probably that
And
one.
I think it's that box.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet.
Yeah.
Here's this.
Oh.
Here's a big question.
Wow. Hey, from Ben Shepherd, 7777 Australian. But thank you very much. Hey, from Melbourne, Australia. Where do you see both your show and Cosmographia in 3 years' time? I wanted to, probably on the internet.
In the future.
I wanted to know if you could give me an insight into your vision for both shows. Next.
Well, this show. Can I take this one for this show, guys? We're just gonna keep making mistakes. So that's the plan going on here. As for Cosmographia,
Cosmographia is changing already. We'll see what happens. I don't know what happens to that. That's that is Randall's vision, not ours. We are there to help and host, and it's changing. So it has been changing. Randall's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. As for our show,
It's going to stay the same. It never changes.
it never changes. I mean, one of our goals, we've talked about is like we want to make more regularly produced content. It's tough to find the time for that.
is it? Oh my gosh, it's really.
I want to take the entire unfinished presentation and turn it into a big series of short presentations. I think we can do that. What I'm thinking now is like one of the big things my goal for these Egypt trips is I'm going to get more material for that. We need video. Like our whole unfinished presentation is built on photographs. Now I need video of this stuff. Of like smooth, good video that we can turn the entire thing into a series of produced videos. So I'm hoping to start work on that as soon as we come back from Egypt. So look forward to like a series of these kind of produced videos, maybe 10 or 15 minutes long each, something like that. I don't know how long they're going to be, where we go through the entire unfinished thing in sections with each site separated and cover the same points, but with good video.
Yeah,
which I just don't have
more
right
of a
now.
deep dive on each site.
Yeah.
My goal is to streamline the video production utilizing this live setting right here. So like I've got all of the elements of the show in a way that I can just do it live. And then if we want to do produced videos, we basically make a sort of like a slideshow where we have videos and slides where we can come in the studio and hit record and do the entire presentation live.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And maybe do a couple of takes and then go back and
Do whatever editing is
do
necessary.
whatever
that'd be
editing is
good.
necessary to do produced shows. But most of the production is happening live. So that's my goal. Video switcher, new board, all that stuff.
Ben Shepard says his 7777 deserves some dings on
Dude,
the bell.
you're right.
Yeah, okay.
You're right. Sorry, bro.
I didn't know that this was a sacred number.
We
Sorry.
were waiting. We were waiting.
Give that old dang dang, Mind Chaos, $2. Thank you. One up.
Oh.
Get the one up. Yeah, give it. There we go.
Thank you, buddy.
Another one from Edfu. This is the most profitable conversation we've ever had with anybody. Edfu, $20. After episode 300 with Heather, has your opinion changed on that type of thing? Marty's UFO series and people downloading info reminds me of John Anthony West's question. Did the ancient Egyptians have another way of knowing or attaining info? Heather is, yes, that's the great thing about Heather and why we wanted to get her on the show. She is, she's become a very good friend. Like her husband is like one of my best friends now, and he's awesome. His whole family's come and visited.
I don't know.
What? You don't think he's one of my
memes lately? are
His memes are
just
terrible. I
not
agree.
that
Like he
good.
does.
Oh,
His meme game is
You
bad.
might-
Uh-oh.
I
I'm
love-
sorry to
can't-
hear that,
You
Matt.
can't hold the
It
meme.
just-
Some people just don't have a good meme game.
Lately, his meme game
Is it
a
something that you
little
can
bad.
learn? Like, can he get better?
I think he can get better.
No.
Some
Okay.
people just have.
I
a
don't
gift.
think he can get better. So yes, Heather is as
crap.
she is just as straightforward as they come. So it was really good to get her on the show and have her talk about all this stuff. And I wasn't able to get as much. I want to get her back on because I've spent a lot of time talking to her about this, and she's had real results, not just with people who have come to her, but with her own children, herself, from her methods. And that's what fascinates me. Like I'm not, I don't know, like, is she, these words she uses, like Akashic records and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if about all that stuff. What I do recognize though is results, and so she's able to accomplish real healing in people, both psychological and physical, noticeable stuff, to the point to where she was getting overwhelmed with clients and had to basically stop, So that's why I'm fascinated with her process. And I want to go through it myself. So my plan is next time I go to see them, I take trips to go see them, and I just stay in there. They have a house there, and I just stay. So the next time I go, I want to go through her process myself and experience it firsthand.
Where she prints out the chart and goes through your whole chart?
Well,
Is
she's
that what
done
you're-
that. She's done the chart stuff, in-depth chart stuff, the
Okay.
astrology thing. No, I'm talking about her mindful, where she basically hypnotizes you,
Okay.
puts you into this visualization of your own personal inner chamber, and then she says, she somehow accesses information about healing you, whatever you need to. I want to try this.
Okay. We
I
got
think
interrupted.
I think we should all try it.
I would like to try it.
Yeah.
We got interrupted and we never got to finish when she was here my chart. So I only got halfway through my chart, which was a really cool experience. And
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to finishing that.
She is
only a model.
amazingly detailed on the astrology stuff. Yeah, it's only a
What
model.
was that?
It's only a model.
Oh,
It's only a model.
sounded like a little.
Because we got old man's from
Gremlin.
Scene 23 here, donating $3. It was an excellent scene with some lovely acting. He says, finally managed to catch a live stream. Cheers.
Hey.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Break time also.
Yeah, it's
time
break
for a
time.
break.
See what's playing on the old radio station. Ah,
Oh, it's
Same
my
band.
favorite. They're my favorite.
Wow.
I really love the lead singer.
song's already been played. back, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. This is the final segment.
It is.
Is that true?
It's true.
Seems like it was.
We've
long.
already been live for more than 2 hours. Yeah,
Cool.
this is final segment.
Let's see what
So
we
they
got
can
in
all,
the
they,
emails.
you guys can all just switch right over to listening to Ben,
Yeah, they're still going
School, and
strong.
Darren and
How
Graham.
much longer do they have?
Check them out. Look at them.
Look at 'em go.
Look at them go.
Hell yeah, guys.
Boys.
Yeah.
All right, animator and fiddler, $10. Thank you so much, bro. Read Thomas Sergru book on Edgar Casey. There is a river. Lots of information here in Virginia Beach at
The
Association.
ARE.
Oh,
Yes, the Association for Research and Enlightenment. Yeah.
Thank you for the $10.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Shall we knock out some more emails?
Yep.
Okay. This is from, let's see, Bob Synchro. No subject. He says, my interaction with this podcast twists and winds serpentine. I have ideas I'd like to communicate, but I realize that I would be fighting against the outward spiraling nature of your course of discovery. So instead, I will aim to reflect back your signal. Your podcast has broadened my time scope of human activity on Earth and caused me to realize that some cataclysm has erased a lot of the information concerning those people. The 6,000 years worth of information communicated by our predecessors, which I consider sincere attempts to document human history, presents us with an abundance of nearly unbelievable events. The beauty of this podcast is that it doesn't attempt to demand faith from itself or its audience while examining data. Rather, it sifts through all the data and the nuggets of undeniable truth that cannot fall through logic to the void of dismissal, and have become the pillars that have risen the Brothers of the Serpent into a significant institution of thought. Wow. Are we a significant institution of thought?
Yeah,
In some ways, I think
I don't know.
it's the Institution for Advanced
That's
Copyright
Studies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys come up with some pretty good ideas.
By seeking truth as a well, I like this. I love what he says here that all this stuff about unbelievable truth, right? There's stuff that happens that on the face of it you're just like, no way,
Yeah.
but it did,
Yeah.
right? Okay, by seeking truth as opposed to seeking beacons of hope or fear, you have discovered both reason for hope and fear from a validated scientific perspective. The nuggets of truth which this podcast holds in its treasury reveal what the knowledge bank of general academia lacks. Therefore, brothers, know this email to be what it is: a sincere congratulations with hope for further advancement, but also a professment of your status as a significant institution of culture, the type that we well know to have been erased in not so different past times during the course of our long human history. I wish you well and bid you vigilance. Allied listener and fellow student of the University, Bob Synchro.
Thank
great.
you.
Bid you
He's a good
vigilance.
writer.
Yeah, I agree. It's really cool, and it's that it is hinted at in the name of the podcast. This idea of the brotherhood of knowledge, you know, or wisdom. I don't know if we would say. I wouldn't say we're wise, but the search
no.
for hidden knowledge, right?
The idea, well, it's multifaceted. But,
Yeah.
But it was like, if the Brotherhood was once good, they had their mission statement was awesome.
Yes.
And then it got corrupted, and we're like, no,
Yeah.
let's restart
Bring
it.
it back. Yeah.
And do it, restart the legit.
Yeah, or like Bramley says, like there has always been, you can see the hints of the original mindset of the Brotherhood in the corrupted one, right? The Mavericks, the
Maverick,
the
that's what
followers
they
of
were.
Aya are still in there, and that's us. Hopefully, we're trying to
Yeah.
have the Ayan way,
We're
Yep.
trying not to be scriptards.
Yep.
But sometimes
and
I
it's
get
got
a
to be
little
done with
skirpy,
it's got to be
folks.
done with humility and humor, right?
Yeah.
You're exactly right. That's why I'm y'all's
Sometimes I
biggest
get
fan.
a bit skirpy. Can't help it.
Well, you're just doing your job.
Oh,
had a-
Ben's talking about the eclipse. They said
We had another comment up there. Did we get
Oh
that
yeah,
one?
we need to
Scroll
go up to that one. Pics. Scroll up.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
your job over there.
Kyle's distracted by
Totally
Ben.
distracted.
Yeah, picks $10. Hey folks, did you see the huge anaconda photo I sent?
On
Exter. I like
Extra.
that name.
Also, how about a field trip? I did see that. Also, how about a field trip to look at North America's oldest something ranges within 30 minutes of something Cosmic Summit in 24. I'll get relevant info.
Greensboro. Within 30 minutes of Greensboro.
Oh yeah, okay.
Cosmic
So
Summit.
so he's struggling with the text with the character limit there. I get it. Yeah. Greensboro Cosmic Summit.
Ranges.
Thank you for the $10.
What are ranges?
Mountains?
Oh. Okay, the oldest mountain ranges.
I
Within
think.
30
Wow,
minutes
this
of
was like a code.
Yeah.
That sounds
Well,
fun.
yeah, it does sound fun. Do we have plans for after the summit? We do have plans before, right? We're doing something.
Yes, we have plans before and after.
Leading
so
up- okay,
the
yeah.
plan is.
Oh, let's hear it.
Should I reveal the
Yeah,
plan?
reveal the plan?
The plan is Dynasty is basically going to do a little tour since we like. So here's the deal. I call up Tyrell, Rolling Stone. Hey, bro, you want to play the Cosmic Summit? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. All right, we're going to fly out there. Oh, no, bro. I'm not going to put my equipment on a plane and have it get lost.
Oh, look, Ben just bailed. Sorry. Distraction. He's gone.
So Ty
can close
does
out
not
the
want to
combined
lose his equipment. So then we're like, okay, we'll rent a van and we'll drive. And it's like, well, we looked it up. 22 hours. Well, it's going to take 2 days. Might as well play a show on the way up there. So the plan is basically we're going to go and try to play a show in Memphis. Then we're going to go to Asheville, try to play a show in Asheville. Then we'll go to Greensboro, play the Cosmic Summit. And then that's 2-day event. So then the second day we'll just chill at the Cosmic Summit. Maybe, I don't know when our presentation is.
Day 2, hopefully.
Day 2. And then when we head back, we're going to stop in Nashville and hopefully book a nice show there. And then we go home.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
We'll see if
So
that
it could
happens.
be multiple chances for a meetup. Well, we can post all this information in the Discord.
Yeah, once we get those
You guys
shows
can start
booked.
making plans. Yeah, once the shows are actually booked, but that's the idea.
Right now it's just an idea.
Right.
So
So you start your album release party is at Eclipse at the Canyon, and
yeah,
then
'cause
you're
we
gonna have
literally
a
like can't even play a show
yeah.
for like 2 years
Yeah.
after releasing it out. We're like,
So in April of 2024, you'll have an actual release party, you could say, where
Yeah.
everybody gets to, and then you have a little tour building up to Cosmic Summit.
Yeah.
So. Isn't
and
that
we
great?
we got like 2 months between the Eclipse show and the Cosmic Summit, so I'm like, well, we might as well book some more shows. So we'll probably book shows in Austin.
Dude, it's
we gotta
so
stay-
great that you can
Once
do the
we're like
music
show
around
ready,
this.
we
Yeah.
got to stay show ready.
Yeah.
So we got to book shows and keep playing.
And Kyle's got to get surgery. And Ty's going to have
Right.
to get surgery. All
Yeah,
the old
Ty
men-
is also injured.
We'll just complete our destinies and we'll keep popping pills and we'll get addicted to drugs and we'll write a crazy album. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think the wives are going to like that plan.
It's a bad plan.
You guys have wives and kids now, so you guys are going to all have to go get surgery.
That's right. All right.
All right, we'll do one more email here, and then I think we can wrap it up, right?
We're going to call it.
Yeah.
Kyle's hurting.
Yeah.
It is true.
And we're 2 hours and 15 minutes in. It's good. We're good to go, right?
But
Okay.
we're proud of you, babe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dedication, people.
Okay.
According to this, we're like 2 minutes from 2 hours.
Okay. That's perfect. One more email.
Okay.
Okay. This is called Fairies episode 296 from, let me scroll down here, Sedley. Regarding Fairies, episode 296, Dear Kyle, Russ, Laura, The Watcher, et al. Just wanted to point out that Shakespeare's treatment of the fairy spirit realm in Midsummer Night's Dream, the Tempest theme in earlier literature is not unique or even the earliest. References to the little people can be found in Spenser, the Fairy Queen, Chaucer, numerous references in the Canterbury Tales, and the Facetious Nights of Straparola. Got to check that one out. And of course, 1001 Nights. Perhaps you could say the spirits and jinn of 1001 Nights are different from the British or European fairies, but the tales are undoubtedly very old, perhaps much older than when they were supposedly compiled. Richard Burton, I note a protagonist of previous Snake episodes, was an early translator of the Arabian Tales. That's right, he did translate the 1001 Nights. Richard Francis Burton. Finally, thank you so much for the podcast. I just love it. And donation was sent via PayPal about a month ago, but I can't remember if I signed it.
Thank you,
Well,
buddy.
thank you. Thank you very much.
you.
Go Snake, straight to pyramids and into the labyrinth of Hawara. Sedley. P.S. As someone who buys and sells humble mid-century West German pots, no way are those diorite vases simply vases. No, hashtag no chance. Hashtag been done. Got to be onto something. All right. Yeah. I agree. It is the lurking variable, right? This is what we figured out when we were recording Cosmo the other night. The
lurking variable.
yes, the precision of these vases is a lurking variable in archaeology. It's been sitting there for hundreds of years, and it has the potential to overturn just about everything we think about ancient civilizations.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Last thing I want to do.
We have a. Do we have time? for this?
Yes, we got the one-up box, and then I want to do the Patreon producers.
Aha.
And I guess Kyle can check if we have PayPal producers as well.
Normally, I leave the producers on the live shows to be the live donators, and then we do producers for the recorded shows.
Okay.
But what's happening? I mean, we're doing another show like this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we do producers for that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because we just got a lot of producers over here on the live show.
That's true. You're
That's
right.
what I mean.
Okay. So Laura, what is this?
This is from.
Wow, would you just look at this fabric? Oh my gosh.
This is from various people that were at the Arizona meetup that
Oh.
took place in December, where we did a.
Oh, wow, look at these.
Everybody threw their name in a hat, and I think it was Sweet Sophie that drew the name out of the hat, and we gave away two ticket plus one, two free tickets
Snakes
for
and
the
cactuses.
eclipse at the canyon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So these are like, oh, this is cool. She says she made these, Christian.
Yeah, and she sent us a picture of them together.
What is this? Wow. This is
Little, these are like little Christmas bow ornaments with snakes and cactuses on them. That's cool. Cacti.
That is.
There was
Really
a
cool.
picture in here.
Do you know how they got this effect with the painting?
That's amazing.
It looks like whatever the black one is something that dries and
Shrinks?
crackles on top. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
And then look, they sent us.
From Murray
is
So
Springs.
this was
Sir Claps a lot.
This was
Nice job,
some of
dude.
the people that were at this event, and I guess they gave us some of these things in this box.
Oh, they're at the Black Mat. Is that Murray Springs?
That's Murray Springs, yeah.
That's cool.
And there's sweet Clueless Chris, the winner of the tickets. We're so excited you're coming.
Yes.
Oh, and there's a box in here from Dame Beth. Thank you for your courage.
Thank you. Thank
Is
you.
that going to make a sound? Does that
What?
make a sound?
I have no idea.
I think it says screaming goat or something.
Says that's from Baja, Arizona. That's the last NA meetup
That's
she went to.
everything.
Yes, the screaming goat. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just. Do I have my knife? I do. I'll have to do this.
Space Rocks. BCmeteorites.com. I'm not quite sure what this is, but there's little notes I think from each person.
Well, this one doesn't have a note. It looks like a. What is this? Yeah, it doesn't say
So
what this
sweet,
is.
you guys. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
thank you. Hold on, I got to get the goat out of here.
And I would like to say that we are planning on one or two more times before we get to the eclipse to give away some free tickets.
okay.
Yes.
So watch out for that. There will be maybe a couple other opportunities to win some free tickets. Okay, let's hear this goat. Does it take batteries?
Probably. Oh wait, I can just pull the tab,
Oh, here we go.
and then how do I make it work? I don't see a button or anything. I don't know how to make it work. There's no switch, no buttons. It's supposed to scream.
Is it really?
Can
Yeah,
you
it's the screaming goat.
hit it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No.
Okay, next show when we figure out how the goat works, we can all hear it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's nowhere to. That's too bad.
We'll
I don't want
figure
to break it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, I loved being in
What's
here
this?
as always. This is all. I've already taken everything out.
Oh, you already did all this? Okay.
I already kind of opened it all up. Did you see this?
No, what is this?
Here, let me make sure that we're not missing anything. Put it on the floor.
This is telling me you should push the button, but I don't see a button.
Can't get this thing.
What's that?
This has got to be. It's some kind of stone from something. I mean, there should be something about it. What
Oh,
it
there it
is,
goes.
where it's from.
Okay, you have to push the whole goat down. That's the screaming goat. There you go.
You've got karma.
You're making me wonder if maybe there was a note that went with it that I don't have. Now I don't remember because I opened it so long ago.
This has got to be from having something to do with. Let's see.
These are great. I wish. I know that. I said send us a meetup report, but you guys weren't comfortable with that. That's okay.
Oh,
you can type one out.
I thought that it's because they couldn't hear us because the service was.
No,
so
I
bad.
told them in the Discord.
Oh,
I told them
okay.
multiple ways. Send a meetup report, record something. We'll play it on the show, and people were just like, no.
Oh.
We do not want to be on the show, which is I totally understand.
Oh, okay.
I completely
Okay.
understand that. Yeah.
Well, if you do have a meetup and you do want to record something and you do want to be on the show, do it.
Well, this is awesome, dude. You guys went to Murray Springs. Seeing the Black Mat in person in this setting blew my mind. So
And
yeah,
you wrote a song.
I did, and I'm gonna play it to close the show. But this idea of the wasteland that Randall talked about, I was thinking about that, and because this place, it's not a wasteland, obviously, but imagining it is just it's like this desert environment. And so like
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. She sent an email as the note.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why. That's what she just said right there. Read the email.
I almost looked
And
really
then I remembered,
bad.
yes, I did get an email. But I normally do these in chronological order, so your email will get read in 2 years. Okay, no. Okay, this is okay. Hey Russ, this is Clueless Crease with an Arizona Snaky meetup report. I still feel overwhelmed from the weekend. Did it really happen? I'm very happy that Chap Patty offered to meet up. We managed to gather 4 more snakes that were ready to go. We started the evening of the 15th at Sky Bar in downtown Tucson to hang out. The next day, we visited Benson for breakfast in the Murray Springs Clovis site to see the Younger Dryas boundary layer. We finished it by winging it with an unplanned visit to Tombstone. This is where we encountered the synchro that beat all other synchros I kept pointing out. The Russ House Hotel at 501 East Allen Street. Should have seen how weirded out some of us got. I would love to write down the conversations I had with other snakes, but that requires scrolls. We're hoping for more meetups here, and would be great to see more snakes plan their own. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, snakes from Clueless Crease.
We love you,
Thank you.
girl.
love you, always have.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point. You need to change the terminology from books to scrolls, because that's
Okay,
what it is.
yeah,
It's scrolls.
Oh yeah,
They
that's
sent me a
good.
scroll.
That's
Everybody just give
good.
me a scroll. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
genius.
Well, guys, I love being in here.
Yeah.
Thanks
It's
for
been
having
great.
me again.
Yeah.
Love you, Snake Force.
We calling it?
We're calling it. We love you guys.
Always have.
Always will.
Good night, Adamu.
Get back to work.
This is not the song.
Yeah, I was
It'll
gonna
come.
say.
Just a minute. 0 mistakes.
Zero.
This is all planned.